The background music is from Rabindranath Tagore's collection of poems. The story that we will tell is about 2500 years old, when religion was undefined. The poet Rabindranath Tagore got Nobel Prize for his broad approach to religion. The poet says, through this music, O Lord, give me the humility to surrender myself to you. Allow me to drown my ego in my own tears. Let me not brag of my achievements when it is all your blessings that showered on me. Devotee, Pujarini. Its history. Pujarini was written by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore in the 1930s. Tagore wrote this story to highlight the terror brought upon Buddhists by the Hindus. Kings seeking to expand their kingdoms and protect their subjects favored Hinduism rather than Buddhism, whereas kings looking to preserve the peace favored Buddhism. It depicts a period in India 400 BC when Buddhism was under attack by Hindus. Pujarini is an example of that reign of terror imposed by King Ajatashatru after he killed his father Bimbisar, who was a Buddhist. This reign of terror ended in 200 BC when King Ashok embraced Buddhism following the massacre of Kalinga in 261 BC. Following Ashok's reign, Hinduism took a balanced view of life, seeking to both preserve and protect. Now, the featured story. King Bimbisar was a disciple of Lord Buddha. He quietly sought Buddha's blessing with great humility. He erected an exquisitely decorated stone shrine called stupa in Buddha's name in a secluded corner of his royal garden. Every evening, wearing clean clothes, came the queens and the maids with flowers in a basket. The king lit with his own hands a row of gold lamps at the foot of the tomb. When Ajatashatru became the king on the throne of his father, he wiped out his father's religion in a flood of blood and burned all the Buddhist religious texts. Ajatashatru called all the women of the palace and declared, "There will be no other worship than of the Vedas, the Brahmins, and the king. If you forget this, you will be in great danger." It was end of a day of autumn when the maidservant Srimati took a bath in a sacred cold water and carried a decorated platter with flowers and lamp to the queen's chamber. She approached the elder queen with humility, looking down at her majesty's feet. Shuddering in fear, the queen cried, "Don't you remember Ajatashatru's announcement? Anyone making offerings to the stupa will be either sentenced to death or be sent to exile." The royal maid then turned around and walked slowly to Queen Amita's room. With her gold crown placed in front of her, Queen Amita was fixing her long hair, carefully putting the vermilion on the parting. Seeing Srimati, her hand shook and she said in alarm, "Oh, ignorant fool, what insolent courage inspired you to bring the offering here? Go now, or else someone will see you and it will be a disaster." The glow of the setting sun was coming through the window of Princess Shukla, who was then sitting alone and reading poetry in her room. She was startled by the sound of the jingling jewels and looked towards the door. Seeing Srimati, she kept the book on the floor, quickly came near and whispered caution in her ears. "Everyone knows of the king's order, yet why does one run fast towards death like this?" Srimati went from door to door with her plate of offerings, calling everyone, "O ladies of the palace, come, it is time to worship the Lord." Everyone heard her call. Some of them were frightened, while others cursed. The last ray of the sun disappeared from the top of the palace. The roads were getting deserted, disappearing in darkness. The noise of the crowd was fading away, and the sound of the bell from the royal temple echoed throughout the palace rooms. Innumerable stars became visible in the dark sky of the autumn night. The sound of the horn from the royal gate heralded the conclusion of the day. As the prisoners started to hum evening tunes in their cells, the guard announced the end of the ministers' conference for the day. At this time, all of a sudden, all the royal guards noticed in the deep darkness in the isolated royal garden, there were rows of lights that looked like lamps at the foot of the stupa. The palace guards came running with unsheathed swords. A sweet voice responded, "I am Srimati, Buddha's maid." That clear, lonely autumn night, at the corner of the palace garden, at the foot of Buddha's tomb, the white marble was splattered with blood marks, extinguishing the last flame of offering. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I am taking refuge in Buddha.